What's up? This is Cody from Hinder. If you're not in the now, you're in the nothing.
So, man, it seems like you guys never stop touring. You guys are always on the road. Another trip here to Wichita.
Yeah, man.
How's the tour been going so far?
It's been interesting, man. It's actually been a lot of fun. Bringing in Marshall Dutton and Jared Weeks from Saving Abel, and we weren't exactly sure what to expect, but it's it's been like I said, a lot of fun, and our fans have been super cool and super supportive. So it's actually been a very uplifting experience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been great.
That's good, definitely. I mean, you guys definitely do have some diehard fans that will stick with you through everything, and
yes, we do, and that's
something good.
Yeah, it shows us we've been doing something right all these years, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's good.
Now, bringing on Jared to do vocals for you guys, how did that whole thing come about? Did you guys approach him, or did he approach you guys?
Yeah, initially, we had a very small amount of time to put everything together. So, we kind of just put like a short list of people together. We actually flew in a couple people to, do some tryouts, and we were running out of time. So we actually had Marshall come out first, Marshall Dutton. And so he came out, we just did a quick rehearsal. We had a show in like 2 days. He came in and just nailed it. So we went out and did some shows, and then we realized, for some reason we hadn't even spoken to Jared. We toured with those guys forever, so we just seemed, we knew that we'd get along, and our personalities were the same, and we knew it'd work. So we called him up, and he learned the stuff really quick and flew out. It was pretty seamless, man. It's been great.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's good to hear. Any crazy things going on the road on this tour? I know, I hate saying it's a crazy thing, but I heard something about there was an accident one day.
Yeah. It was on our last little run. We had a week break. Luckily, it sounds bad, but luckily it happened when it did. We just left a show in Port Huron, Michigan, and it was an awesome show. We were partying on the bus after. We had a week off, and so we were just kind of living it up on the way home. And we were going about 65 down the highway, and some lady ran a red light and cut us off. And the bus driver, of course, had to lock him up. And when a bus is traveling 65 miles an hour and you're standing up in it, it stops, but you don't.
Yeah.
So, it could have been a lot worse. Blower and our tour manager, they got the worst of it. But, Blower ended up, having to have a lot of stitches and had like reconstructive surgery on his cheekbone to repair that. But he was awesome about it, man. He got in there like, as soon as we got home, he was at the doctor within, a couple days. Scheduled a surgery the very next week, because the last thing he wanted was to have to miss shows. So we came back out, and here we are.
Yeah. And you guys are definitely living the rock and roll life. Bands have documentaries made out about them. Definitely Hinder's going to have an interesting documentary once it gets done in 20 years, when everyone's looking back at you guys.
Yeah, man. Well, that's going to be a fun one to tell all the stories. Let's hope we can actually remember them whenever it comes up.
Oh, yeah. I hear you there. Let's talk a little bit about drumming. Let's talk about the first time you sat behind a kit. Do you remember when that was and how that came about?
First time I sat behind a kit, I don't really remember the first time I actually sat behind one. I remember the first drum set that I actually got to keep at my house. Growing up, I begged for one for several Christmases, and it didn't happen. So luckily, my sister was dating a guy who had played drums, and he brought over this like mixed match kit that was kind of a piece of shit, but to me it was super cool, man. So I jammed on that thing in the garage for a while, and I remember I went out of town, some school trip or something. I was gone for a couple days, and when I came back, my parents took me out to dinner. I was pretty young, man. Like I was maybe 11 or 12, maybe even younger, I don't know. But they sat me down and had me like, son, we don't want you to be too upset, you know. And I thought they were going to tell me like my dog had died or something, but I guess the guy came and picked up the drum set, and I was devastated.
Nice. Let's talk about the first time. It's kind of going to go back a little ways, but Hinder gets together, you guys jam for the first time. What did you think about that? Did you know that this was something that you wanted to do?
Yeah, well, it's funny. The first time, you know, we actually got together, I'd been talking with a buddy of mine, you know, who I played with back in middle school. And, you know, at the time I was really interested in business and marketing and, you know, going to school for that. So I told him, you know, I got a couple guys coming over, we're going to jam and stuff. If they're any good, you know, I'll send them your way. But, you know, as soon as we got together, it was like, I don't know, man, it was like you could just tell it was something special. So, you know, from that day forward, you know, I decided, you know, we all decided we were going to take it serious and make it happen. So, yeah, it was a pretty special moment.
So business and marketing, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of my thing.
Is that your second job choice?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of always been my role in the band as well. You know, I do a lot of the business and marketing and PR ideas and stuff. So it's kind of my thing.
Nice. So let's also talk a little bit about like side project type of things and being in other bands' careers. Are you still doing that? Are there any bands that you're working with right now?
Yeah, right now I'm kind of working on a country project. Actually, I mentioned Marshall Dutton, who's singing with us. Plays in a band called Drink More, and it's kind of funny actually. Yesterday we went from Illinois back to Oklahoma, and we all played on stage. We did a Drink More show at this big festival called Jig Jam. It was like 17,000 people. It was huge. So yeah, it was kind of cool just to, you know, for all of us, you know, to go from a Hinder tour to a country show, and then the very next day back on a Hinder tour again. So it was pretty fun.
Now, being from Oklahoma, I know everyone is still talking about all the tragedy that's happened down there. You know, what have you guys done? Have you guys gone into raising money for that?
Yeah, we've you know. Initially, we wanted to jump in and you know, do a big show, and there were so many different shows that, you know, we were going to try to get on one, and then you know, none of that worked out. We had to leave the next day. We were on our way to Japan. But we've run into you know, some cool radio stations along the way that have been cool enough to do some out of state things where they, you know, sell tickets and, you know, donate, you know, the profits to you know, the victims of the storms and stuff. So, you know, we've been fortunate enough, like I said, to run into some really cool people to do some things. But you know, we're still not done. We'd like to do some more. So, I mean, there's it's still pretty wrecked down there. So
that's what
there's a lot to be done.
You know, definitely. I mean, you can't run from a tornado. You know? It's kind of like, you know, growing up in California, the earthquakes out there.
Yeah.
You know, just devastations once they hit. And, you know, when you first seen the devastation down there, what did you think about? I mean, how did that hit you? From, you know, being from there.
Man, it was crazy. I mean, you know, we you know, I grew up, and I mean, we all did, you know, seeing tornadoes all the time. So, I mean, we're kind of used to it, but it was a really crazy feeling. You know, with this one, it was, you know, obviously it was different. You know, just watching it live on TV, just rip right through the middle of the town was. I don't know, man, it was crazy. I actually expected it to be, you know, a lot worse as far as lives lost, I guess. So luckily, you know, people were as prepared as they could be, and, you know, it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Now, earlier I was asking about you being involved with other bands. You know, one band that I kind of really got into a few years back, Nine Left Dead.
Yeah.
You still working with those guys, or?
No, I'm not really working with them. I mean, I've talked to them, you know, on occasion. They'll send me song ideas and get opinions and things. But, you know, they went through some lineup changes and, you know, kind of had to almost start over a little bit. So I mean, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? You know, maybe when it comes time for them to, you know, do a new record or something, we may, you know, do some songwriting and recording and stuff with them. I'm not sure, but you know, I've just had so much going on, you know, with other projects and this project, and you know, it's been pretty crazy and busy. So.
Let's talk about studio. Are you comfortable being locked up in the studio recording?
Yeah.
You know, because some bands, you know, God, I hate the studio. I prefer the road. But you know, is that something you're real comfortable doing now?
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. You know, I mentioned again, Marshall and I started a production company called Back Lounge Productions a couple of years back, and you know, I built a studio in my house, and actually 3 of the other guys in the band went in and you know, helped buy a bunch of gear. So we did the last 2 Hinder records there, and you know, Marsh and I were lucky enough to be able to produce the last Hinder record. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, second nature for me now. I've been doing this for so long, and I said we do a lot of recording with a lot of different styles of music, and I don't know, man, it's a lot of fun. It's a good way to keep your mind going and stay sharp.
Definitely. You know, and not having your own studio at your house is, you know, a lot better than having to fly to LA or Nashville, and you know, if you get tired, you can just go in the other room and sleep in your own bed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're not trying to rush through it either, you know, like, you know, when you're somewhere else, you're always thinking, it's always in the back of your mind, yeah, well, and, you know, man, I just want to go home, you know, I want to spend time at home. Now you don't have to worry about all that, you know, you can just go into the studio, you know, be as creative as you want for as long as you want, and like you said, whenever you're done, you know, you can go in the next room, play with your dogs, whatever you want to do.
What do you do for fun outside of music? How do you keep yourself occupied just to get out of the music part of your life?
I don't really, which I know I should. You know, I've got so many things going on. I guess sometimes I like to do, you know, like graphic design work and, you know, do some stuff like that. But other than that, man, it's all the graphic stuff I do is usually for music. So.
So you're not really stepping out of your bubble.
Not much, yeah. No, I know I should, but you know, I don't really do anything else but music.
So, no, are you a gamer? Nothing like that. You just concentrate on music. That's your whole life.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Yeah. Sounds like you need to take a vacation. From everything, so.
I do. I need to find a new hobby.
Yeah. Talk about social networks, Facebooks, Reverb Nations, Twitters. Are you involved in all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, out of everybody in the band, I'm probably the most involved in the social media part. You know, I try to stay on top of it as much as I can. I stay in constant contact with we have a company that, you know, helps us out, helps us run it. You know, I'm always, you know, doing videos and pictures and, you know, sending captions and stuff over to them, and we're always just kind of going back and forth with different ideas. So, and you know, trying to stay in contact with fans on there as much as possible. I mean, we get a lot of traffic, so it's kind of hard to do it, but we
get on there. There's 26,000 messages. You know, how do you decide who to pick to respond to? And
yeah, exactly.
You know, if I do this one, then this one's going to be mad, or you know.
Totally. It's tough.
Definitely it is. Do you have a preference of all the social networks?
For me, I guess Facebook's probably the easiest, the easiest to run. We just downloaded Snapchat, and
how's that? I haven't checked that out.
Man, I tell you, I'm having a hard time getting into it. It's one of those, I don't know, are you familiar with it at all?
Yeah, I just haven't really got into it yet.
Yeah, so. You can open things for like, you know, 3 seconds and then it's gone. And then after that, you know, when you're running a band page, you get so many of them. Like once that one's gone, you don't even remember, you know, who said what, and you can't look at it, you can't keep up with it and do stuff fast enough. It's almost impossible. But I don't know, I guess the good part is every once in a while some cool fan will send you some tit pics or whatever.
Yeah,
that's never terrible. I don't hate that.
Definitely. I'm right there with you, you know. So what's next for Hinder after this tour? Are you guys going to try to take a little time off, or are you going to get back out on the road again? Or?
We're actually out until late October. We're doing a tour with Candlebox.
Oh, nice.
So, and Devour the Day is going to be on that one as well. So we're really looking forward to that one. We've never done a whole tour with Candlebox before, so we've been talking about it forever. So we finally get to do it. We're really excited about
That's
that.
a perfect combination, though, between you guys and Candlebox.
I think so, man. We're really excited about it. They're really good guys. Obviously, we grew up listening to them pretty much, so you know, we're pumped about it. But after October, yeah, chances are, man, we're gonna take some much needed time off. I think for a couple months, and we'll probably pick it up again next year. So we got a lot of things to figure out in the meantime.
Now, are you guys constantly writing stuff for future records? Have you guys been working on anything new?
I'm constantly writing. I don't know if it's necessarily Hinder material or not. Like I said, always working on other projects. Sometimes songs that are written for one project may be better for another project. But yeah, I'm always constantly writing, and like I said, sometimes it may be a Hinder song. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know until you put it down and try it out.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
If an aspiring drummer was to come up to you and ask you, what one piece of advice would you give me just starting out playing drums, what would you say to him?
I'd say probably take advantage of YouTube, actually. There are a ton of cool videos and cool lessons that you can go on and learn. That wasn't available to me whenever I was starting out, and it was really tough. I grew up in a very small town, like outside of the city, so it was really hard to go and get lessons and really stay on top of it whenever I was younger. And that's one of my biggest regrets, is that I didn't stick with the lessons and learn
All the different techniques and
and different styles of music, and there's a lot I could have learned at an early age, and it would have been a lot easier instead of trying to learn it later on in life. So stick with it young, take advantage of all the the free lessons online, and yeah, man, just practice.
Nice. Well, man, I think that just about covered everything, man. Definitely appreciate you taking time to chat with us again.
Anytime, dude.
Definitely.
Cool.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, bud.
Yep.